Hey everybody, Alex here, healthhacksreview.com. I'm making this video because I just want to give a little insight into my crazy holistic lifestyle, some of my practices, protocols. So I do this video specifically on water, okay, and just a few quick things you can do to really improve the quality of your water. So yes, this is one of my shelves here with all the crazy things I'm doing and taking in different times. So this is just my kind of morning protocol here. I'll take these glass jugs here and I will actually fill this up with reverse osmosis water. You want your water to be as low in parts per million of any particles as possible. Keep it as clean as possible. Distillation is okay too. So this brings it to about 4 parts per million with my current reverse osmosis. It's actually not that great quality. It should be less. After I fill that up with water, what do I then put into it? Well, we really need to restructure it. We also really need to continue to clean the water energetically and also remineralize it so that the water is not basically robbing my body of minerals. So first thing is a product here called Blue Z Water. And this is a ionic mineral matrix that mainly comes from mica, M-I-C-A, mica minerals, developed a few decades ago in Japan, where it's been used to clean all kinds of large bodies of water. They started to study the properties and started to even consume it. It was resold, it started to be imported into an MLM product called Adia Clarity, which Natural News has claimed is high in heavy metals. They're usually pretty honest about that stuff, and it probably is partially true, but there are some things I found that I'm not exactly sure about their article. Anyways, either way, this is actually another supplier, and I'll put the link below if you want to do an order. Just order through my affiliate link, but this is a super clean supplier of mica minerals, and it's also a fraction of the cost. This actually teaches the water how to cleanse itself, and this is based off literally a lot of research they did over in Japan. Somehow restores the cleansing ability of water energetically. It also restructures it to a certain extent as well. Mica has a natural hexagonal pattern that it kind of imprints into the water. So I put that in here as well. And this will actually, you'll be surprised if you do a test with even RO water, that you'll actually watch particles cling in the water and clump together and fall to the bottom of the glass. It's very impressive. So this stuff definitely works. Now, after I have put that in there, I'll also use these Maxwell Ionic Sea Minerals. And yes, it also is a constipation remedy. And the reason for that is because it is extremely high in magnesium, as you can see here, 422 anyways, and that is in 1 teaspoon. Okay, I do about 2 teaspoons a day, 1 to 2. I'll actually go through this whole gallon in about 1 year, but it's about a 1 to 2 year supply. It's $80, unbelievable price. They concentrate 100 gallons of pristine seawater that is off the southern coast of Australia on the way to Antarctica. Anyways, 100 gallons to make 1 gallon of this. So it's got literally everything in the ocean in that product. And you can kind of compare it to Quinton's sea marine plasma, which is very expensive. This still has all the same colloidal life elements in it that will restore your bioterrain in your body. That is the fluid that's inside the cells and outside the cells. That is essential for everybody to do, regardless of whether you have cancer or you're just trying to get healthier as an athlete, or it really doesn't matter what it is. It's all about the bioterrain. Okay, so what else do I put? After I put just a little bit in here, then here's a little magical device here, is the ALMAG. The ALMAG 01. This is a PEMF device, pulsed electromagnetic frequency device, made in Russia. It's got at least 30 years of research behind it. This is actually one of the more original PEMF devices on the market, and actually still one of the better ones out there. I do sell this device. I sell other PEMF devices as well. You can find them on my website. And if you are interested in ordering one or learning more, if this is going to be a good PEMF device for you, let me know. Anyways, so these are all coils in here, and I actually will then, a lot of people don't know this is what you can do with some PEMF units. Put it right next to the water, and this will send really powerful magnetic pulse charges into the water, and it's actually also doing it with some Schumann harmonics in there as well. So in other words, the exact electromagnetic harmonics that normally when water is passing over the earth in a river, etc., it's picking up a lot of magnetic charge from the earth and also literally the Schumann resonance. So that's actually coming out of this device, and with the minerals already structuring now the water, the next step is actually applying the right type of magnetic pulse charge to charge up the water, which is exactly what that PEMF device does. That PEMF device obviously is mainly used on the body. It'll do the same thing in the body, but this is something that people don't know. You can actually instill the same frequencies and start to actually bring back the magnetism to the water. And so what that allows then is for your cells to actually absorb and utilize that water. It also changes the charge state in and around the cells faster. Check out Dr. Jerry Tennant. His book is excellent on voltage in the body electric. Start to understand pH from the perspective of charge potential, okay, in and around the cells. And that the cells naturally have a certain millivolt charge from membrane to membrane. Your cells are essentially wet batteries, supercapacitors, all kinds of interesting things. So this we always want to do to the water as well. That's what really brings it to life. You can also vortex your water, and that actually does work on, I'm not going to explain the principles, it's quite advanced when you start to get into vortex sorts of mechanics. But this is a great dual purpose use for this PEMF device to actually change your water. This is a very cheap ozone machine, by the way, if you're wondering what that is. And it works great. It's $65 on Amazon. And each morning I will actually take the mica minerals over here. And with those micro minerals, I'll put a little bit in the water, and then I will basically put the ozone into the water, and I will do that for a few minutes, then drink it. By adding the mica minerals, you get a sustained oxygen release of maybe around an hour to an hour and a half. Off a cheap machine, that's basically that sort of oxygen release in the body is what you would normally get with professional ozone treatment at a clinic, which would be very expensive. You can actually do that as long as you add those mica minerals. And it really, really allows the water to grab onto a lot more oxygen. And not to mention, mica minerals have the property of allowing your cells to have a clean oxidative burn. So there's no sort of damaging oxidative effect, which doing a lot of ozone can have that effect if you're already highly oxidative in your body and your redox potential is not so good. So consider adding those two. Either way, it's another great thing you can do with your water. I also add to my water iosyl, which is 2 forms of iodine. Your body actually utilizes 3 forms of iodine, so you want to at least get 2. You at least want to get the salt form and the molecular form, which are both in here. Very affordable product. I put 2 drops inside each of these. I drink both of these during the day and into the evening. Iodine, most people are deficient in. That's why they have all kinds of different health issues, thyroid issues. And the reason, again, a lot of people are deficient in this, not just because it's not in the diet very much, but it is a water-soluble mineral like magnesium. Everybody's deficient in magnesium. A lot of people know that. But iodine also. And if you're doing a lot of sweating or you're doing a lot of infrared sauna, you can easily lose a lot of iodine, if you even had any, in a sufficient level in your tissues. By the way, it's not too risky to overdo that, again, because it's water-soluble. Your body can handle a huge amount of iodine. And if it doesn't need any more, guess where it goes? Right into the toilet, or you sweat it out. So it's very low risk. If you have a major thyroid issue, of course, work with a really good functional practitioner, and eventually you'll learn to balance out and slowly increase your dose and do it so you don't cause any imbalance. Aquaterra clay from Vitality Herbs and Clay. Check out their clays. Those are the best, most therapeutic clays on the planet. Prove me wrong. Look at their research. There's a lot I could tell you about that clay, but they actually have 3 other clays as well that have tons of monoatomic minerals. You'll get stuff in that clay you can't find anywhere, basically. That's an excellent thing to do. It really is a food supplement. And so that, as you can see, I have some MMS solution. Sometimes I experiment with that, which is a miracle mineral solution. It's a sodium hypochlorite, which basically releases oxygen and chloride in the body. So it does release a lot of oxygen. I actually am preferring using the ozone and mica minerals, though. I find it gives a better effect in my body, actually. But this is another nice thing you can add to water. Shilajit. This brand is the best. I've never found a better brand, but if somebody knows of a better brand, just let me know. It looks like black tar. This is probably one of the most bioactive substances out there. I've never found anything more potent for my body, honestly. I take about the size of a grain of rice, and it's impressive, the effects that it has for such a small dose. So something like this, while expensive, when you look at the price, keep in mind you'll be using this thing for at least 4 to 6 months. So it's actually, for what it does for you, it's actually quite cheap when you start to take that perspective. You can add that in your water. It does make your water taste a little funky, so I usually will eat it straight or put it in a smaller amount of water. Okay. Related to water over here, topical magnesium oil. Most people are deficient. Until you correct your deficiency, that's probably the fastest way to get up your tissue levels. Especially, it's good for localized treatment if you have any local issues or problems. Just rub that right in there, and it's awesome for the nervous system, regenerating tissue, helpful with the muscles, and localized application. And you absorb hundreds of % higher than what you could supplement with orally. This is an empty container. Nothing's going on there. Over here, we have, this is now getting off the track of water, but also just a really good parasite cleanse formula, which, sometimes I'll just take randomly in the mornings, depending on what I ate the previous day. But back to water. This is something that there's a lot of subjective feedback online. Yeah, this is actually, so they say detergent booster, but keep in mind that when this is a form of boron, it's just pure, 99%, it's just mined boron. I'm trying to look for the ingredient. There's sodium tetraborate. When you look up what that is, it means there's three hydrogens that are connected to it. Getting extra hydrogen is great. And actually, what's fascinating about this is it has been a remedy for different sorts of ills for a long time. The toxicity is equal to sodium chloride. Okay, so in other words, if you had an eighth of a teaspoon of that, it would have the same toxic effect, right, as having an eighth of a teaspoon of sodium chloride. So that's just chemistry 101 with that stuff. All they've done for 125 years is just mined it and ground it. And it's just pure boron. So this has a surfactant nature. Okay, this is why you want to add it to some water. Most people are running deficiencies in surfactant. That's why their blood's clumping together and they're not getting enough oxygen. There's stuff that coat the cells and to clean outside the cells for greater insulin sensitivity, absorption of nutrients. You need surfactant in your body. There's a gland called the Brunn's gland near the liver that normally is not producing enough surfactant once people get older, so you can actually supplement with it. This is one of the reasons why people really get such good results with this, and they don't get the same results just taking boron, the mineral, which again is an essential, really important mineral to take. People are very deficient in, but the form of the mineral also matters. This has a surfactant nature to it, okay, this borax. They use it because for different cleaning applications because of its surfactant nature. But remember, to cleanse the body and keep the body clean, you also need surfactant. So it's fascinating. So this is really non-toxic. It's super cheap. You add a tiny bit to your water. So really in one of these containers, I might add an eighth of a teaspoon to each of these, which is a pretty good dose. You can work your way up from like an eighth of a teaspoon per day to eventually like a quarter of a teaspoon. Combine them, be like basically a quarter of a teaspoon. And that also, by the way, for those who don't like fluoride in the body and how things get calcified, this form of boron actually has had a good track record of taking fluoride out of the body, an excellent track record. There's been some studies. Also, by the way, the history of this, look it up. This mineral was curing and reversing all kinds of rheumatoid arthritis, all kinds of arthritis cases in general. And the guy was selling so many bottles of it, he went to a pharmaceutical company to see if he could get it to have some help in bottling all of it, to sell thousands of bottles. They took a look at it, realized it wasn't profitable, then went to the FDA and were able to basically make it so that it would not ever be able to be sold as a supplement. But this stuff is fantastic if you have arthritic issues. So that's how it actually began. It could have just as easily, you could have been in a different timeline, you'd see that in like a vitamin store. this form of boron. It's unfortunate because it could have helped a lot of people. But this is not unusual, especially if you know the FDA. So anyways, that's the story behind that. He wanted to find something to use it for. So basically it then started to become sold for other sorts of multi-purpose use and cleaning and all that kind of stuff. Where do you find that? You find that in the detergent section lit over the supermarket. I know it sounds strange, but do some due diligence, do some homework. You realize it's really quite safe. And really for what it does for you, it's fantastic. And that's pretty much it. I think that's the last thing that I sometimes add into water. Let me just think here. I think that's just about it. This is another thing you can quickly check out, though. The label is off of it, but this is indium, I-N-D-I-U-M. Indium Ease, E-A-S-E, is the brand. Indium is a trace mineral that actually is good to supplement with. It's normally in glacial waters. Normally when you're born, it's in your body up until around age 6 or 7. Then your body uses it up. In other words, it's so important, the babies will actually literally pull it out of the mother's body, even if the mother is severely deficient, in order to utilize it. It's a nutrient chaperone. So if you don't have this mineral, there's literally whole chains on the periodic table. So in other words, there's a lot of minerals in the seawater, which has 99 minerals. There's a lot of minerals in there you couldn't even absorb and utilize without indium. See, so some minerals actually are nutrient chaperones to help absorb other minerals. Now this also isn't what they found to have a great regenerative effect on the neuroendocrine system, especially the higher glandular functions. Some people have thyroid issues, they're supplementing with, thyroid glands, you're taking iodine, doing all these other things. Sometimes they really need this to actually get the neuroendocrine system back online again. So this is a great anti-aging mineral. I can barely take it, honestly. I'm 34, but the energy that it gives me, especially in my brain, is too much. I might do a drop every week. So the body only really does need a trace amount. When you're first starting on it, you might take more than that, of course, the first couple weeks. But you'll find literally your energy goes so high and just everything improves, you can then start to back off on your dose. You can put that in the water as well, 1 or 2 drops. But that's really incredible stuff to know about. So I do encourage people to check that out. Anyways, that's it for my little water special here of what I do in my little laboratory. And water, remember folks, this may seem like a lot, but your body is 99% molecular water, okay? So they say 70% water, but really if you look at the molecules, it's water, okay? So what is the most important thing? Water, what you're doing to your water, the minerals in the water, your bioterrain. Prioritize and focus your supplementation on this kind of stuff firstly. Then you can add in other protocols. Then you can add in other supplemental sort of things that you're doing or detoxes. But this is your foundation. That's how you got to look at this. This is your foundation. This is where real health is coming from. Where do your cells come from? Just to even answer that question, figure that out. Okay, your cells literally are arising from the waters outside your cells. In other words, new cells don't grow out of in the middle of the cells. Anyways, they start as spores, actually. I'm not going to go through the whole chemistry, but in other words, what's in your bioterrain is crucial for the quality and the life of new cellular processes that arise. Also, preventing toxins from absorbing, keeping toxins moving to where they need to be, getting to the lymphatic system, being processed by your organs, making sure things flow where they should be flowing. This is what it's all about. Okay, so this is why I went to so many different things that I'm doing. Is there even more than this that I didn't even share? Sure. There's a molecular hydrogen supplement you can ask me about. That is one of the most powerful supplements out there. I just don't have it on my shelf. It's in the other room. It's a molecular hydrogen supplement, and I'll put in the description. Something else that's extremely powerful for the body and a little bit advanced for me to explain at this stage. But anyways, if you have any more questions, check out healthhacksreview.com. You can reach me anytime and consult with me at no cost, and I'd be happy to help you. Thanks.